there is a 17-year-old kid. His name is Gilberto Mora. He currently plays for Tijuana in Mexico, and his weekly salary is approximately $2,700. That makes a little over $10,000 a month. Now let's set that number aside, because we'll come back to it later in the video. The same kid's club signed a new contract a week ago, and there's a clause in it. That clause says, if a European team wants to buy this kid, they have to pay at least 20 million euros. 20 million euros. His agent is even bolder, claiming Real Madrid is ready to pay $40 million for him. That's an incredible claim. The question is simple. Why would a club pay $40 million for a kid earning $2,700 a week? In this video, we'll explain that, and actually this story isn't just about a footballer. It's the story of the gap between a company's and assets, a person's true value, and their current earnings. And that gap is something we run into in the world of finance every single day. Before we start, if these kinds of topics, money, investing, and sometimes these kinds of interesting stories, catch your interest on this channel, don't forget to subscribe and like the video, because these stories don't end here. I've grabbed my tea, and if you've subscribed, grab a hot tea or coffee too. Let's get started. Part 1. Who is this kid? Gilberto Mora was born in October 2008 in the city of Tuxtla Gutiérrez, Mexico. He's 17 years old, and right now the only title he's known for is this: the youngest player at the 2026 World Cup. But the youngest label is the most ordinary thing you could say about him. Because in 2025, at 16 to 17 years old, he became one of the top scorers among all under-17 footballers in the world. Exactly 12 goals. That number is even 3 goals more than Bayern Munich's young star Lennart Karl. So this is a name being talked about not just in Mexico, but worldwide. Maybe he'll become a star. We'll all see that together. What actually caught my attention about Mora is this. His teammates say something interesting about him. On a bus ride, while everyone else was on their phones, Mora was reading a book. A teammate saw this and said, "This kid is different." And he really is different. Footage of him speaking fluent English at a press conference went viral, because honestly, nobody expected such a young player to be that comfortable in English. He joined Tijuana in 2024. In 2025, he stood out both at his club and on the national team. He won the CONCACAF Gold Cup and the CONCACAF Nations League with Mexico, and scored 3 goals at the Under-17 World Cup. And just last week, on June 9, 2026, Tijuana gave him the club's legendary number 10 and had him sign a new 3-year contract. So here's what we have. Mora is both very young and very talented, rapidly rising, and now playing in the World Cup. Up to this point, everything sounds like a perfectly normal, rising star story. But now the story is about to head somewhere different. Part 2. The real contradiction. Salary versus value. Now let's go back to that number. Mora's contract with Tijuana pays him approximately 2.4 million Mexican pesos a year. Converted to dollars, that's roughly $140,000. Divided weekly, that's about $2,700. By Liga MX standards, that's an academy salary level, meaning it's a very natural, very normal number for a developing young player, not a full professional. But at the same time, Transfermarkt, the world's most well-known player valuation site, shows his market value at 10 million euros. And the release clause in Tijuana's new contract, meaning the minimum amount you'd have to pay if you want to buy this kid, is over 20 million euros. And honestly, this is the part that causes the confusion. So on one side, $140,000 a year in salary. On the other side, a 20 million euro price tag. The difference between them is roughly 150 times. How is this possible? This is where finance comes in. Part 3. Why is the salary so low? The first reason is quite technical but important. FIFA rules prohibit players under 18 from signing official contracts with big European clubs. Mora isn't 18 yet, He won't turn 18 until October 2026. So right now, under the rules, even the wealthiest clubs in the world can't make him an official offer. This creates a situation that doesn't exist in a normal market. Demand is extremely high, but a sale legally cannot happen right now. Tijuana, on the other hand, reads this situation very well. The club is essentially saying, this kid will stay with us until he turns 18, and then he'll go to Europe, but at the price we've set. That's exactly why that €20 million clause in the new contract matters so much. It's a message Tijuana is sending to other clubs: don't make low offers, the price has already been set. Part 4. Where the real money comes from. So how does Mora get by right now on this low salary? This is the most entertaining part. His net worth, meaning his total assets, is currently estimated to be between $1.5 and $2 million. But most of that doesn't come from his salary. It most likely comes from sponsorship deals. Adidas made him the face of their youth campaigns in Mexico. That deal alone is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And here's a genuinely interesting detail. He also has a deal with Corona, a beer brand. But since Mora is a minor, under Mexican law his face can't be used in alcohol advertising. How did Corona get around this? The word Mora means blackberry in Spanish. The brand used his name to print blackberry-flavored cans, running a campaign using his name without showing his face. So a 17-year-old kid, before even playing for a major European club, is already making money by renting out his name to a brand. Part 5. The finance lesson. The main message. Now let's get to the real point. Why is this story being told on a finance channel? Because Gilberto Mora is actually a living, breathing example of what's called a low-income but high-potential asset in finance. Think of a company, maybe a newly founded tech company. It's not making any profit right now, it can't pay its employees high salaries, it might even be operating at a loss. But investors value that company at billions of dollars. Why? Because they're not investing based on the company's current earnings, but on its future potential. Remember, what they're looking at is what it can provide or add in the long run. What's happening with Gilberto Mora is exactly this. Tijuana is paying him a low salary right now. The rules allow it, and the club is developing him during this period. But the same club is putting a €20 million tag on his future value. Brands like Adidas and Corona are doing the same thing. They're not investing in his current performance, but in the potential that, if this kid becomes a world star one day, he'll be associated with our brand. This is something that happens every day in the stock market. When you buy a company's stock, you're not looking at its profit today, but at what it might be in 5 years. Whoever gets in early buys at a low price. And if that potential is realized, the value multiplies. Now, every minute Mora plays in the World Cup is directly affecting this valuation. If he manages to shine in this tournament, which seems like a high possibility, a goal, an assist, a standout performance, that €20 million number could jump to 30, 40, maybe even 50 million overnight. Of course, this is just a possibility. The opposite is also possible. An injury or a poor performance could pull that number down. In October, when he turns 18, the rules will change and European clubs will be able to make official offers. Every month until then is like a bet on this value. So let's end with this question. If you had the chance today to invest in this kid's future, of course that's not actually possible, but as an analogy, would you do it now or after the World Cup ends and everyone already knows him? Because in finance, the answer is always the same. The one who spots the potential before everyone else does is the one who wins. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next story. Goodbye, friend.